What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a much functional 40K. Here today to go over some more of the Space Wolf stuff. I was prepared to do all the previews that GW has been putting out on their Warhammer community over the last week or so, but then we also got a leak of all the info in the Codex. So I figured instead of wasting time with just the previews, we'd just go ahead and jump right into looking at the Codex. So with that being said, let's go ahead and pull it up. I'm going to start with the data sheets just because I find knowing what's in the data sheets helps me personally interpret the detachments better. So let's go ahead and look at the data sheets first. Some pretty cool artwork in here. So first up, we got Logan. Move 6, which is good for Terminator armor. T5, 2-up save, 8 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1, 4 Binvol. Stormbolter, just normal Stormbolter profile. Zax of Morkai has a strike, which is 6 attacks, strength 8, -2, 3 damage, or a sweep, which is 10 attacks, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. I believe that's pretty close to what it is now, and then his dogs have 6 attacks at strength 5, -1, 1 damage, which I believe is pretty much what their profile was with the sled. So pretty much the same damage profile as the sled, just on foot now. Can be only attached to Wolfguard Terminators. He has Deep Strike and Leader, Oath of the Moment. High King of Fenris. Once per battle round in your movement phase, you can select one friendly Space Wolf unit that is in Strategic Reserve. If you do, until the end of the phase, for the purpose of setting up that unit on the battlefield, treat the current battle round number as being one higher than it actually is. So you can bring in a unit from reserve on your first movement phase, and on turn 2, you can bring in a unit from Strategic Reserve in your opponent's deployment zone, which you normally can't do till turn 3. Then after turn 3, this becomes useless because there's nothing. All reserves are fully unrestricted at that point. So this only really helps you turns 1 and 2. Then Gattle of the Wolf. Each time your opponent targets a unit from their army with a stratagem, if they're within 12 of him, increase the stratagem by 1. So this is basically what Bjorn had in the index. It's now going to be on Logan, which if you're running with a squad of Terminators and have them in the mix of the fight, that's just going to be much, much more useful, I think. I do like that rule on him. Model can embark in friendly Adeptus Astartes transport models that can transport Terminator models, and when doing so, it takes up the space of 4 infantry models. All right, so basically, he takes up the space of 2 Terminators, 4 regular infantry. So that being said, him with 5 Terminators would be 14 spots. If you give him RJack, that'd be 16. So they could fit a Crusader at that point. Him with 5 Terminators will fit in a Redeemer, but they won't fit in a regular Land Raider. Then just more cool artwork of him. Next we have Njal. Move 7, T4, 3-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, 1 OC, 4 Binvol. Bolt pistol. Then he has Living Lightning, regular attack, D6, 3-up to hit, strength 7, -1, 1 damage. Then you can make it hazardous, and it gets psychic and sustain 2 on both, but you can make it hazardous and double the number of shots. So from D6 to 2D6. Does not have blast, though. Melee, Staff of the Stormcaller, Psychic, Sustained hits 2. 4 attacks, Strength 7, -1 D3. That's only 4 attacks, but it is Sustained 2, so that's really, really nice. This model can be attached to the following units: Bloodclaws, Grey Hunters, and Head Takers. Then his leader, Oath of the Moment, Windwalker, Psychic. While this model is leading a unit, ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have the Assault ability. And each time that unit advances, do not make an advance roll. Instead, until the end of phase, add 6 to the movement characteristics of models in that unit. All right, so him with a big unit of Head Takers, they can really, really, if you give them advanced charge somehow, which I don't see naturally inbuilt anyway, but hopefully we have a strat or one of the detachments. Let them do that. That'd be really, really nice. Otherwise, him with a big squad of Grey Hunters advancing and still being able to shoot all their weapons isn't a horrible thing. Tempest Wrath Psychic in your shooting phase. After this model's unit has shot, select one enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the start of your next turn, that enemy unit is storm racked. While the unit is storm racked, subtract 6 from the range characteristics of range weapons equipped by models in that unit to a minimum of 12. All right, so if the range is 12 or less, you can't affect them, but otherwise, that'd be really nice shooting people like Fire Dragon. Not Fire Dragon's already minimum 12. Anything that has like a Melta shot or something that gets bonuses at max range or at half range, you're lowering their max range, which would also lower their Overwatch range. Not Overwatch, Rapid Fire or whatever range. We got Yolric, movement 7, T4, 3 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 5, 1 OC, 4 up invul. Just has a plasma pistol and a Crozius, anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4 up though. 5 attack, strength 6, negative 2 damage. That's a pretty nice profile. Can lead Blood Claws, Grey Hunters, and Wolf Head Takers. All right, so looking like a lot of the characters from the Wolf supplement will only be able to join the other units from the Space Wolf supplement. He has a 6 up Feel No Pain now. Yes. Yep, we'll be getting to them in a minute. But yeah, that's really, really cool that we can run them in 20 mans. This isn't going to be a mid-max bunch of 5-man units. This is going to be more of like a bunch of big hunting packs. So he's still got Slayer's Oath, but it's changed, I believe. The start of the battle, select one of the following keywords to be this model's Slayer's Oath, character, monster, or vehicle. First time this model's unit destroys a unit with this model's Slayer's Oath keyword. If your detachment roll has a saga, until the end of the battle, this model's unit receives the benefit of that detachment roll as if the saga has been completed. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then while this model's leading a unit, each time a model of that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. If that attack targets a unit that has this model's Slayer's Oath keyword, add 1 to the wound roll as well. All right, so that can be useful. So his unit will get +1 to hit, and he can also get +1 to wound if you're shooting or attacking whatever he chooses. Yeah, I really, really like that. That with a big squad of Blood Claws, giving them +1 to hit and +1 to wound, will really, really slap. Bjorn, I'm so glad to see he made the book. Move 9 now, T9, 2 up save, 8 wounds, leadership 6, 3 OC, 5 up invul. I didn't have an invul before, so he gained an invul. That's nice. Assault Cannon, Heavy Flamer, Health Frost. D6 shots, strength 6, -1, 2 damage at Torrent. Or focused. 1 shot, strength 10, -3, 5 damage. Melta. True Claw is still lethal hits. I wish it was twin linked, but it's lethal. 6 attack, strength 12, -2, 3 damage. Deadly Demise 1 and a 5 up Feel No Pain. Oath of the Moment. Legendary Tenacity. Each time an attack targets this model, if the strength of that attack is higher than the model's toughness, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So that's in replace of his half damage, which I think is a nerf on that. And then, yeah, Ancient Tactician. At the start of your command phase, this model on the battlefield, you gain 1 CP. So as Kayan is saying, he lost the Vector, but that moved over to Logan, so you still can get that in the army. And him giving you +1 OC, I think, is really, really nice. So I think you'll probably see him and Logan in most lists, at least to start. Next up, Ragnar, my favorite guy. Move 7, T4, 3 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 6, 1 OC, 4 up invul, bolt pistol, Frost Fang, 8 attacks, strength 6, -3, 2 damage. All right, so that's the same. Can attach to Blood Claws and Head Takers. All right, so he cannot lead Grey Hunters, but he can lead Blood Claws and he can lead Head Takers. But no more Blade Guard, which is something I liked to do in... Currently is what I like to do, but now he only gets to do that. Warhowl, while this model leading a Blood Claw unit, each time on that unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll a wound roll. While this model is leading a Head Takers unit, is able to declare a charge return, which is advanced. So he still gets the advanced charge if he's with Head Takers, and then he gives reroll wounds to Blood Claws. Battle loss, each time this model ends a charge move, to in turn add 2 to the attack's characteristics of this model's Frostfang weapon. So he still goes to 10 attacks, but he no longer gets to go to strength 8. So that's a little bit of a nerf on his battle lust. And he stayed this. Well, we'll look at the points later. They've also revealed the points, but he stayed the same points. He gets a different buff against blood claws, and he loses 2 strength on charge. Other than that, he pretty much stayed the same. Yeah, head takers are Blade Guard equivalent, and they're better than Blade Guard. I just like having options, whether they're better options or not. Just losing options is something I dislike. Arjack, 6-inch move, T5, 2-up save, 6 wounds, leadership 6, 1 OC, 4-up invul, foe hammer, anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3, assault, 1 attack, strength 8, -3 damage. And then in combat, also anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3 with precision, 5 attack, strength 8, -3 damage. Can attach to Wolfguard Terminators. Anvil Endurance, while this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if that model has not fought this phase, roll a d6 on a 4-up. Do not remove the destroyed model from play. So basically, it gives his unit a 4-up fight on death. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character unit, you can reroll a hit roll and you can reroll a wound roll. I don't see the rule that allows him to join the same unit as Logan anymore. So you may have to take them in separate units now. Hello, Hogfather. How are you doing tonight? So that's interesting. So no more Logan and Arjack in the same unit, it looks like. Then the Wolf Priest, one of our newest models. Move 7, T4, 3-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, 1 OC, 4-up invul, Absolver bolt pistol, regular Crozius. And then healing bombs while someone's leading a unit in your command phase. He can return 1 destroyed model, excluding a character of that unit. So that's gonna be real useful with head takers, but still not that bad with blood claws or grey hunters. And then while it's leading a unit, each time they make a melee attack, add 1 to the wound roll. So he still's got the chaplain buff here, but then he also gets a little apothecary thing here, which I think is really cool. Iron Priest. I thought he was going to stay. A bunch of other people didn't, but I was pretty sure we were going to keep the Iron Priest. 7-inch move, T4, 2-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, 1 OC. Hellfrost pistol. Doesn't look. It's 1 shot, strength 6, -3 damage, or D6 shots, strength 4, -1 damage. Tempest hammer and servo arm. So they're combined together into 4 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 8, -3 damage. Load up within 3 of a vehicle. A gift of the Iron Wolf. In your command phase, you can select 1 friendly adaptive starter's vehicle model within 3. The model gains the D3 lost wounds. Ranged weapons equipped model have rapid fire 1 ability. Each model can only select this ability once per turn. Judgment on the Messiah. Each time this model makes an attack that targets a unit within engagement range. If 1 or more friendly adaptive starter's vehicle units, you can reroll a wound roll. So they actually give him a little bit of a different rule than Tech Marines. He can still heal. He still gets the load up. But instead of +1 to hit, he gives rapid fire 1. And then he can also, instead of gaining extra attacks when a vehicle dies near him, he gets reroll wounds when he's attacking something that's engaged with a vehicle. Yes. So the +1 to wound is better on the blood claws. The healing is better on the head takers. So he will be good in either unit. But I think I'd rather take him with the head takers and take the big blood claw brick with Ulrich, just from what I'm seeing. Then we got some generic Marine stuff there. Stupid Thousand Sun. Here's the new battle leader. Move 7, T4, 3-up save, 5 wounds. Leadership 6, 1 OC, 4-up invul. Mastercrafted bolt carbine. Mastercrafted heavy bolt pistol, plasma pistol. Mastercrafted power weapon, thunder hammer. All right, so nothing really special in the weapons. While this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in that unit have sustained hits 1. And each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets a unit within 6 inches, reroll a hit roll of 1. So you're always going to have sustained hits 1 and reroll 1s in combat, because you'll always be within 6. The other time, if you're doing some shooting, which head takers probably won't be doing as much, but if for some reason you put him with Gray Hunters, they can get sustained one on their shooting. If this model is destroyed by a melee attack, if it has not fought this phase, roll 1d6. On a 2-up, do not remove from play. The destroyed model can fight after attacking units finish its attacks, and is then removed from play. All right, so he just has a built-in 2-up fight on death by himself. And if you have the Storm Shield, he goes up to 6 wounds. All right, next we have the Blood Claws. Movement 7, T4, 3-up save, 2 wounds, leadership 6, 2 OC. Bolt pistol, plasma pistol, chainsword, power weapon. So no fists or hammers, but they do get a power weapon. So all their combat is 1 damage. This user will declare charge a turn in which did advance. So they have a built-in advance and charge, which is really, really nice. Which will carry over to whatever character you attach to them. So that's really, really good. And you can take between 10 or 20. Excuse me. A lot of talking today. But yeah, so I wish some of our units had the option for 5-man so we could play a more MSU style, but that's just not giving us the option for that. So big bricks it is, and I think that can be really, really fun. The only thing I dislike is there's no transport the 20-man can get in, so they're just running across the table. Whereas the old 15-mans with 1 character, you could fit in some of the Land Raider variants. But a 20-man is just all out there. Gray Hunters, move 7, T4, 3-up save, 2 wounds, leave 6, OC3. That is awesome. Weapons, they got their Bolt Carbine, which is 2 attacks, Strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, Rapid Fire 1. So 12 inches are going to be 3 attacks. Chainsword, Power Fist, Pumper. So the Gray Hunters do have the Power Fist option. Cunning Hunters, each time a modelless unit makes an attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. If the target is within range of an objective marker, you can reroll a wound roll instead. All right. So they give reroll 1s to wound and full reroll to wound if something's on an objective. Then we got our wonderful head takers. So move 7, T4, 3-up save, 3 wounds, leadership 6, 1 OC. Their dogs are 10-inch move, T4, 6-up save, 1 wound, leadership 8, 0 OC. We have heavy bolt pistols, just like Blade Guard. Mastercrafted power weapon, 4 attack, strength 5, neg 2 damage. Paired mastercrafted power weapon, 6 attack, strength 5, neg 2 damage. And the dogs have 4 3 attacks, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. So their weapon, basically, even though it's an axe, is the exact same profile as the Blade Guard. We just have an option to double hand and get the 2 extra attacks. But they, unlike Blade Guard, there is no invul save, is there? Oh, power weapon and storm shield. There it is. Okay. All right, so they come with a power weapon and storm shield. Okay. Second there, I was worried. It's in the war gear. All right, storm shield, 4-up invul. A lot of people have a 4-up invul right here listed, but that's just if the whole unit has it. So this is down here because only if you choose to take it. All right, so that's fine. So they still have the invul if you want to run them that way. Let loose the wolves. At the start of the declare battle formation step, split this unit into 2 units. 1 containing all of its head taker models, 1 containing all of its hunting wolves model, with the new starting strengths accordingly. All right, so this auto split at the beginning of the game. Head takers, at the start of the battle, select 1 unit from your opponent's army to be this unit's quarry. Weapon equipped by head taker models in this unit have this devastating wound and precision ability while targeting its quarry. Each time this unit's quarry is destroyed, select 1 of a unit to be this. All right, so if you kill that quarry, you can pick a new one. Hunting hounds. While this unit's within 6 inches of 1 or more friendly spatial character models, if this unit is not battle shock, to get OC of 1. All right. I was hoping the wolves and head takers had something where if they were engaged with the same unit, the dogs gave some sort of benefit to the headhunters. They don't. They just split into separate units and then do their own thing. So I don't know why they forced them to be attached to the same data sheet and stuff, but that is what it is. So you can take 3 to 6 head takers and 0 to 6 wolves. So sorry about that. All right, so interested to put them on the table, but I'm glad that they kept the invul. Oh yeah, we saw pictures of them with the shield, so I don't know why I was worried about that. Thunderwolves, our Thunderwolf stave. 12-inch move, which is nice. Still T6, still 4 wounds, still OC2. So that all stayed the same, except we got more movement. Bolt pistol, bolt gun, plasma pistols, teeth and gloves. Wolf guard weapon. 4 attacks, strength 5, neg 2, 2 damage. So it's neg 2 and 2 damage now instead of neg 1, 1 damage, and getting the +1 on the charge. So that's a big improvement for the Thunderwolves. They can no longer get characters, but they improved their weapon. Each time a monolith unit makes a melee attack with a Wolfguard weapon, if it made a charge move this turn, add one of the damage characteristics to that attack. Oh, so the Wolfguard weapon can go to damage 3 on the charge. Dude, that is really nice. So honestly, I think Thunderwolves are looking a little better. They still take the Storm Shield, bolt pistol. Let's see. Yep, you replace their bolt pistol with a bolt gun or storm shield. Oh, they actually get a bolt gun. I don't think they could do that before. That's interesting. And they can take 1 plasma pistol. They may have been able to do that before. I just never did. I always give storm shields. So their dogs don't get the +1 damage on the charge, but the regular guys go to damage 3. And they get extra movement. So I think that's an overall win for Thunderwolves. Unfortunately, Aiden's still out of town. I wish he was here because he loves Thunderwolves more than I do. So I'm hoping he's really, really hyped for that. So next we got the Wolfguard Terminators, Assault Cannon, Stormbolter. So Assault Cannon is the only heavy weapon options they can take. We got Mastercrafted Power Weapon, Power Fist, Relic Great Axe, which has dev wounds. It's only 3 attacks though, strength 7, neg 2, 3 damage, Twin Lightning Claw. Oh, 6 attack on the Twin Lightning Claw though. And then if they're targeted with an attack that strength is higher than their toughness, -1 to wound. That's nice. Storm Shield still gives them 4 up. So let's see. Any model can have the Stormbolter replaced with a Storm Shield. 1 Wolfguard Terminator replaces Stormbolter for an Assault Cannon. Pack Leader can take the Relic Great Axe or Twin Lightning Claw. All right, so you can only get the Relic Great Axe on 1 guy. The rest of the guys you're going to run with either Power Weapon or Power Fist. 1 extra attack with the Power Weapon, better strength with the Power Fist. The rest of the profile is exactly the same between the two. So that's something just worth considering depending on what you are and aren't going into traditionally in your local meta. Fenrisian was made the cut. Movement 10, T4, 6 up save, 1 wound, leadership 8, OC 0, 3 attacks, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move with a 9 of this unit, it can make a normal move up to D6. All right, so they get a D6 reactionary move. Hunting Hounds, while this unit's within 6 of 1 or more friendly space with characters. So same as the other Hounds. With near a character, they get +1 OC, which is really, really nice. That was one of the things I hated about Wolfen and Fenrisian Wolves in our index, was unless you could trigger Saga Majesty and Champions of Rust, they couldn't do actions or control objectives. So now you can just position characters to be near this stuff, and it immediately becomes more useful. Wolfen, movement 9, T6, which is really, really nice. 4 up save still, 2 wounds, leadership 7, OC 0. Stormfrag auto launcher, and then Wolfen weapon, sustain hits 1, 3 attacks, strength 5, neg 2, 2 damage. Each time an enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, with the engagement range of this unit falls back, all models in this unit must take a desperate escape test when doing so. If the enemy unit is battle shocked, subtract 1 from those tests. All right, so you just auto force people to take desperate escape if they want to fall back from you. You take a death totem. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. All right, so you take 5 to 10. And then they also have Wolfen with Storm Shields. So this means you can take 60 Wolfen because they're 2 different data sheets, which is really, really funny. Their profile is the same, other than these guys get a 4 pinball from the Storm Shield. The Thunderhammer is anti-monster, anti-vehicle 2 or 3+, but it's only 2 attacks. So hopefully we have some way to buff a number of attacks, because the Wolfen, their amount of attacks is kind of weak. And none of the characters have been able to join them, which I was really hoping like Priest would be able to join them. Hammer Blow in the fight phase. After this unit has fault, select one enemy monster or vehicle unit hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the end of the next turn, that unit is suppressed. While the unit is suppressed, each time a model that unit makes the attack, subtract one from the hit roll. So you can give a monster or vehicle unit you attack -1 to hit. And they can also take the death totem. All right, then they have Curse of the Wolfen rule, which we'll get to later when we look at the army rules. Murder Fang. Movement 9, T9, 8 wounds, Leadership 6, OC 0. Flamer, Stormbolter, Murder Claw. Sustained hits 1, twin linked. 8 attack, strength 14, negative 3 damage. So that stayed the same. I believe the sustained hits is new. He always had twin linked. Field of Plane 6 still. Murder Maker in the fight phase. Each time attack targets friendly Wolfen unit within 6 of this model. If a model unit is destroyed as a result of that attack, if that model does not fault this phase. So he gives a 4-up fight on death to Wolfen stuff near him instead of his infinite fight. You can reroll advance and charge rolls made for him. All right, so he no longer can just string together fights as long as he keeps getting targeted, but he gives other Wolfen fight on death, which I would assume applies to him, because he would be within range of himself. He can't be your warlord. Then we get the Wolfen Dreadnought. Movement 9, T9, 2-up save, 8 wounds, Leadership 6, OC 0. Heavy Flamer Stormbolter. Fenrisian Great Axe Strike, 6 attack, strength 10, negative D6 plus 1. Sweep, 12 attack, strength 6, negative 1 damage. Or the Great Wolf Claw at strength 6 attack, strength 10, negative 3 damage. Great Axe or Great Wolf Claw or Stormbolter can place to 1 Blizzard Shield. All right, so you can take the Blizzard Shield still, so you can still get the invul. Bestial Rage. Each time an enemy unit is selected to shoot after. Hold on. Each time an enemy unit is selected to shoot after that unit has shot, if this model lost 1 or more wounds as a result of those attacks, this model can make a Bestial Rage move. To do so, roll 1d6, adding 2 to the result. This model moved a number of ranges up to that result, but must finish that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. When doing this model, this can move into engagement range. Only 1 per phase. If this model is equipped with 2 melee weapons, those weapon profiles have the twin linked ability. All right, so he gets a Blood Surge, and if you take double weapons instead of the shield, he gets twin linked. That's pretty interesting. Then we have the Venerable, Salt Cannon, Flamer, Health Frost, Melta Stormbolter, Dreadnought weapon, same Fenrisian Great Axe profile. He only moves 8 though instead of 9, and he gets OC 3. For the Ancient, well, friendly Space Wolves unit within 6 this model, add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for that unit. All right. And that is it for the data sheets. Down here is the Crusade stuff. I don't think we're too worried about any of that. No, let's scroll down here, make sure nothing good, and then we'll go back up to the data sheets. Yeah, this is all Crusade. I hadn't actually looked at this till right when we were opening. Oh, there's the points, which could or couldn't get adjusted before our book comes out. That seems to happen with books a lot recently. Arjak at 95, Bjorn's down to 180. Blood Claws, 135 points for 10. That's not bad. That's only 13 points a model. 270 for 20. Fenrisian Wolves, 40 points instead of 30. Grey Hunters, 190 points. That's 19 a model. Iron Priest at 60. I believe he was 70 before, or maybe he was 60 in the tech room. Is 55. Logan's down to 110. So he's actually cheaper than he was on foot before. Murder Fang stayed the same. Y'all is 85. Ragnar stayed at 90. Thunderwolves are down to 100 points for 3 and 200 for 6. I actually really, really like that, because even though they can't take characters now, I think their damage profile on the charge is way better. So I do think you take a couple units of Thunderwolves, 1 or 2 little small ones maybe, because all our other units are going to be so large. Yulrik's at 70 points, which I believe is the same. Vendread at 140. The Battle Leader is 65. Head Takers are 90 for 3, or 110 for 3 with 3 wolves. 180 for 6, or 220 for 6 with 6 wolves. So the wolves are basically 20 points, but Head Takers are, looks like the exact same points as, no, Blade Guards are 80 points and 160 now. So Head Takers are a little more pricey than Blade Guard. Terminators 180 and 360, Wolf 370, Wolf at 80 and 160. I like that, especially now that you can get them to. Oh, Storm Shield. There's the Storm Shield ones. 90 and 180. That's still not horrible. And then the Wolf and Dread is 145. Here's the detachments, enhancements, but we haven't gone over those yet. But none of them. So the Thunderwolf's Fortitude is 30. Nothing else is over 20. With that being said, I think that's all. Yep, we're going to go back up here and look at the data sheets. Not the data sheets, the detachments. All right, so we'll start at the first one and then work our way down. Actually, let's do the army rule first. All right, so we still have both in the moment, but then we gain Curse of the Wolfen. Well, this unit is within 6 inches of one or more friendly Space Wolves character models, excluding Wolfen models, or within 12 inches of one or more friendly Wolf Priest models. If it is not battle shocked, add 1 to the objective control characteristic of entry models in it. That's 3 to objective control characteristic of vehicle models in it. So Wolfen gain OC1, Wolfen Dreadnoughts gain OC3, as well as Murder Fang has this rule as well. Sagas, each detachment rule includes a saga you can complete with additional effects that apply once you have. Sons of Rus. And if Death is the starter's unit has a second faction keyword on its data sheet, that faction keyword is the name of that unit's chapter. For example, Ragnar Blackmane is both the Astartes and Space Wolves faction keyword, and therefore from the Space Wolf chapter. You cannot exclude chapters from more than one chapter in your army. If your army uses any detachments from this book, it can include Space Wolves units, but it cannot include any Adept Astartes units drawn from any other chapter. Yeah, all right. So that's pretty standard for everything. All right, so the first detachment is Saga of the Hunter. Detachment rule is Pax Quarry. Each time a model in the Space Wolves unit from your army makes a melee attack that targets an enemy unit, if that enemy unit is within engagement range of one or more other Adeptus Astartes units from your army, or if the attacking unit contains more models than that enemy unit. All right, so if you have another unit in engagement range, or if you have more models than them. So this is playing into like the Blood Claw builds where you just have 20 models and you're going into bigger stuff. Add 1 to the wound roll if your saga is complete. Add 1 to the hit roll if your saga is complete. Add 1 to the wound roll as well. All right, so just get +1 to hit if you have 2 or more units engaged with the same unit or you outnumber the enemy. Saga of the Hunter. At the start of the first battle round, your quarry tally is 0. Each time a Death of the Astartes unit from your army fights, after all of those attacks have been resolved, add 1 to your quarry tally for each enemy unit destroyed by those attacks. Once your quarry tally is equal to or greater than the number shown in the table below, your saga is completed. All right, and this doesn't require characters to do it. So basically, in Strike Force, which is a standard tournament style game, once you've killed 3 enemy units in combat, you trigger your saga. So once you've killed 3 enemy units, you'll be gaining +1 to wound in combat. It's kind of crappy that your saga benefits combat, but then you have to basically have already been engaged and killed 3 units before the saga completes. So I'm not a huge fan of that, because it's like you already have to be doing the thing that you're trying to get the buff for before you get the buff. Then enhancements, we have Swift Hunter, Space Wolves model only. Models of Bear's unit have Scout 7-inch. Fenrisian Grit, Adept Astartes model only. The bearer has the Field of Pain 4+. I said only affects him, not his unit. Wolfmaster, Space Wolf model only. In your command phase, select one friendly Space Wolf unit with a 9 of the bearer. At the start of your next command phase, Teeth and Claws and Tearneck and Fenrir weapons equipped by models that unit have the lethal hits ability. All right, so this is for Thunderwolves. You can put it on Logan, or you can put it on Fenrisian Wolves or the Hunting Wolves. There's a buff on it. You have to put the enhancement on something else. Feral Rage, Adepts of Astartes model only. Add 1 to the attack characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. Each time the bearer ends a charge move until the end of the turn, add 1 to the attacks characteristics of those weapons. What? Add 1 to the attack characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. Each time the bearer ends a charge move until the end of the turn, add an art. So an additional. So he's +1 attack, and if he charges, he's +2 attacks. All right, then the stratagems. Our first one is Envelop and Ensnare. It's 1 CP in the fight phase. 1 Space Wolf unit, excluding monster and vehicle, from your army that has not been selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a pile-in or consolidate move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. When doing so, it does not need to end that move close to the closest enemy model, provided it ends that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. All right, so you can go unit instead of model, and this could really, really let you sneak some objectives or other weird tie-ups and stuff. All right, so that's an interesting one. Then we have Chosen Prey. Your movement phase just after Space Wolf unit from your army falls back. To the end of turn, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge, which it fell back. All right, so you can get fall back and charge, fall back and shoot. Territorial Advantage. When the fight phase, just an enemy unit is destroyed by an Adeptus Astartes unit from your army, that Adeptus Astartes unit. Select one objective marker you control that your unit is within range of. That objective marker range under control to your opponent's level of control over that objective marker is greater than yours at the end of the phase. All right, so you can kill an enemy unit on the objective in the fight phase, and then immediately sticky it so that they have to come kill you off it in combat or get to it, and they can't just shoot you off it. That can be real, real useful. Bounding Advance. Your movement phase or charge phase, 1 Space Wolf Infantry or Space Wolf Beast unit from your army that has not been selected to move or declare to charge this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a normal, advance, fallback, or charge move, it can move through models, excluding Titanic models. When doing so, it can move within engagement range of any models, but unless it's making a charge move, it can not end that move within engagement range. So this really, really helps get around screening units. So that's really, really nice. You can use it in your movement or charge phase, and it's not limited to 1 use per round. So you can use it in your movement and your charge phase, which is really nice. Overwhelming Onslaught. Fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 2 Adeptus Astartes units from your army within engagement range of that enemy unit, or 1 Space Wolf Beast unit from your army within engagement range of that enemy unit. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in that enemy unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. 2 Astartes units from your army with engagement range of that enemy unit. All right, so basically you make an enemy unit -1 to hit against 1 Beast unit or 2 Adeptus Astartes units. Then we have Marked for Destruction. Your shooting phase, 2 Adeptus Astartes units from your army, excluding Beast, that have not been selected to shoot this phase. Select 1 enemy unit visible to both of your units. Until the end of the phase, models in your unit can only target that enemy unit, and only if it is an eligible target. Each time a model in one of your units makes an attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. All right, so basically 2 of your units have to shoot the same unit, and they get reroll once. I don't know. That one seems kind of weak to me. Next up, we have Saga of the Bold. Oh, this is one I previewed the other day. Heroes All. Each time a Death to Stars unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight, apply one of the following, resolving those attack. If your saga is completed, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, and 1 damage roll. Otherwise, if that unit is a Space Wolf's character unit, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 damage roll. So if your saga is not complete and you have a character unit, you can reroll 1 of those 3 things. If your saga is complete, then all of your units get to reroll one of each. So that could be really useful. Saga of the Bold. Each time a special character unit for your army does one of the following, that unit achieves that boast. Once 3 or more different boasts have been achieved by your army, your saga is completed. So destroy your Oath of the Moment target. Have a unit destroy a second Oath of the Moment target for. So basically, a unit has to destroy 2 Oath of the Moment targets. One, and then do it a second time to trigger the second part. Overrun their position. Have something wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. Or after round 2, or from the start of round 2, hold an objective marker outside your deployment zone. So this second one here, so basically if you mark a character unit and you kill the unit and the character survives that activation, he becomes an individual unit. If you kill it all in one activation, it does not become an individual unit according to the way it's worded. So you basically, if you could kill the unit in shooting and then charge in and finish off the character who still has Oath on him at that point, you could trigger both of these in one turn, which would be really, really nice. So then their enhancements are Braggart Steel, Space Wolves model only. Add to the strength characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. The bearer unit has achieved one or more of the boasts. Add 1 of the damage as well. All right, so you give your character +2 strength. And if they do any of those 4 things, kill a unit that's oathed, hold the objective in the middle, or your opponent's deployment zone, or just be in your deployment zone, they also gain +1 damage. We have Skjold. That's a starting model only. Each time a spatial character unit from your army achieves a boast, if the bearer's on the battlefield, you gain 1 CP. That's not a bad one, because a couple of those you're going to auto-achieve just accidentally through the game, so having +1 CP for that is really, really nice. Horde Slayer, Space Wolf model only. Start of the fight phase, if there are more enemy models than friendly models wholly within 6 inches of the bearer, till the end of the phase, add 2 to the attack characteristics of the melee weapons equipped by the bearer. If the bearer unit has achieved one of our boasts, add 3 instead. All right, that's all right. A Thunderwolf's Fortitude. This is the most expensive enhancement for what we were looking at earlier. That's a starting model only. The first time the bearer is destroyed, remove it from play. Then at the end of the phase, roll a d6. On a 2-up, set the bearer back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed, and not within engagement range of one of our enemy units, with 3 wounds remaining. So that's cool. We can have a character that stands up. There's a really nice one, like a wolf priest or something. And then their stratagems for that are Inspired Presence. Fight phase, 1 Adeptus Astartes character unit from your army that has not been selected to fight. To end the phase, melee weapons equipped by models in your unit have lethal. Alpha Strike, 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army. Till the end of the phase, your unit is able to declare charge and turn it, which is advanced. All right, I like that. I like having access to this. That just on its own made this detachment I really like. Champion's Guidance, your shooting phase or fight phase. 1 special character unit for your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. So reroll the hit. Gotcha. So for 1 CP, basically you give a unit that's not attacking your oath target, reroll the hit. Heroic Resolve, this one's 2 CP. Your opponent's choosing phase just after enemy unit has selected its target. 1 special character unit from your army selected as a target. Till the end of the phase, each time an attack is allocated to the model unit, subtract 1 from the damage. All right, I'm really liking this detachment. Advance and charging with head takers and giving them -1 damage. This is only in shooting, though, which sucks a little bit. But surviving to get there is nice. All right, then we have Birth of a Saga, your command phase. 1 Wolfguard head taker or Wolfguard Terminator pack leader model from your army. Till the start of the next command phase, your model has the character keyword. Will affect your model's unit is therefore a character unit, meaning it can interact with it. Yep. So basically, you just give them extra bonuses from your sagas and stuff. And then we have Countercharge, another 2 CP. End of your opponent's charge phase. 1 Adeptus Astartes character unit from your army that's within 6 inches of 1 or more enemy units, and we eligible to declare charge against 1 or more of those units if it were your charge phase. Your unit now declares a charge that targets only 1 or more of those enemy units, and you resolve that charge as if it were your charge phase. Note that even if the charge is successful, unit does not receive any charge bonus this turn. All right, so you don't get to fight first, but it's your opponent's turn. So unless they had a unit that also charged or had built-in fight first, you would get to swing first because you get first choice in their turn. I didn't see it, the Apothecaries or Devastators. We lost Long Fang, so there's probably no longer a restriction on Devastators. And our Wolf Priest can heal, so we already have a kind of built-in Apothecary. But I'll check that again. But I didn't notice a what's it called? A restriction on that. But I'll get through the last detachment, and then I'll go back up and look for that. So next up, we have Saga of the Beast Slayer. Attachment rule Legendary Slayers. Each time an Adeptus Astartes model from your army makes an attack, if that attack targets a character, monster, or vehicle unit, or if your saga is completed, that attack has lethal hits. Saga the Beast Slayer. All right, so let's see. All right, so you always get lethal hits against character, monster, vehicles. And if your saga is completed, you get it against everything. All right, I like that. Saga the Beast Slayer. At the start of the first battle round, your Beast Slayer's tally is 0. And you determine your Beast Slayer target by having the number of units from your opponent's army that have one or more of the following keywords rounding up. Character, monster, vehicle. Each time a Adeptus Astartes unit from your army shoots or fights, after all the attacks have been resolved, add 1 to your Beast Slayer tally for each enemy unit with one or more of the following keywords destroyed by those attacks. Once your Beast Slayer tally is equal to or greater than the Beast Slayer target, your saga is complete. Alright, so you choose one of these keywords and have it rounding up, and then once you kill that number of, and you don't just have to kill that. So say they have 1 character or 2 characters, you can choose character, and now your total tally is 1, and then you kill 1 vehicle or monster that they pushed up, and you trigger your saga. So actually, that's really not going to be that hard to achieve most of the time, unless someone spams all 3 of these. Although a lot of times you won't see people run vehicle and monster, but they will a lot of times run character or vehicle, character and monster. So I think sometimes this will be actually fairly easy to achieve early. Their enhancements are Wolf Touched, Space Wolf model only, add 2 to the move characteristic of the bearer, and the declare battle formation step, the bearer can be attached to a Wolfen or Wolfen with Storm Shields unit. Oh, so we can attach the battle leader, or what else? The priest, the wolf priest. I believe those are the only non-named characters we have. But you can attach either one of those to a wolfen unit. All right, so now there's some stuff to play with there. I like that. That's interesting. What I just do. All right, then we've got Hunter's Guile. That's the Astartes model only. After both players have deployed their armies, select up to 3 Thunderwolf Cavalry, Wolfen, and/or Bloodclaw units from your army and redeploy them. When doing so, you can choose to set them up in Strategic Reserve if you wish, regardless of how many units are already in Strategic Reserve. Well, that's kind of nice. If you're running Thunderwolf, Wolfen, or Bloodclaws, you can redeploy up to 3 of them. Elder's Guidance. Space Wolf model only, once per battle at the start of the fight phase. If the bearer is leading a Bloodclaw unit, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the phase, improve the AP characteristic of melee weapons equipped on models in that unit by 1. All right, so once per battle, they can give their unit +1 AP. All right, that's not a bad one, especially on a big 20-man Bloodclaw. You send it into something big. Helm of the Beast Slayer, Adeptus Astartes model only. Each time an attack made by a character, monster, or vehicle model targets the bearer's unit, reduce the armor penetration character that attack by 1. All right, so you can give one of your units basically just built-in armor contempt at all times. And I believe this can stack with armor of contempt, so you can possibly make that unit -2. Because I believe you can never get more than neg plus or -1 to hit or wound, but I do not believe that applies to AP. Then we've got Stratagems. We've got Unbridled Ferocity, fight phase. One Space Wolf unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of this phase, each time a model unit makes an attack, add 1 to the wound roll. Adds a +1 to wound in the fight phase. Thunderous Pursuit. Your opponent's movement phase just after enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback. When a Depth of Stars unit from your army that is within 9 of that enemy unit and not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Make a normal move up to D6. If your unit has the Space Wolves Infantry or Thunderwolf Cavalry keyword, you can make a normal move of 6 inches instead. All right, so all Space Wolves Infantry and all Thunderwolf Cavalry can basically get a 6-inch move for 1 CP if someone falls back. It doesn't have to be the unit fell back for. It just has to be. They just have to end up within 9 of your unit after they fell back. Shock Cavalry. Your movement phase or charge phase, 1 Thunderwolf Cavalry unit from your army that has not been elected to move or declared a charge this phase. To the end of the phase, each time on that unit makes a normal, advance, fallback, or charge move, it can move through models and sections of terrain features that are 4 inches or less in height. When doing so, it can move within engagement range of any models, but unless make a charge move, it can't end within engagement range. All right, so it can move through 4-inch walls and enemy models. And this is once again movement phase or charge phase, and so you can potentially do it in both. Impetuosity. Your opponent's shooting phase just after enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Wolfen Infantry or Bloodclaw unit from your army that was selected as a target of the attacks. Till the end of the phase, after the enemy unit has shot, if 1 or more models in your unit were destroyed as a result of those attacks, your unit can make an impetuous move to do so, roll 1d6. Your unit can move the number of inches up to the result, but you must end as close as possible, close to any unit. Can be moved. So basically, for 1 CP, you can give Wolfen Infantry or Bloodclaws a Blood Surge. Then we have Panning Fire. Your shooting phase, 1 Depth of Stars unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, your unit has until the end of the phase, after your unit has shot, select 1 enemy character, monster, or vehicle unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks. Until the start of your next shooting phase, that unit is pinned. While it's pinned, subtract 2 from its move and 2 from its charge rolls. All right, so that could be useful because that's any Depth of Stars unit. And it just has to hit. Doesn't have to even do any damage. So that could be useful. Coordinated Strike. End of your opponent's fight phase. 1 Space Wolf unit from your army that is wholly within 9, 1 or more battlefield edges, not within engagement range, can go back into strategic reserves. So that's a really, really nifty trick. And then I believe we're back to the data sheets. All right, so I think there's some potential in all of these detachments. We're going to have to get some play testing in with them to find out which ones are really, really nice. I like that you can attach characters to Wolfen in the 1 detachment. And what else? Oh, and Thunderwolves get bonuses in that detachment. But then I also like the advanced charge -1 damage with the head taker units. So I think both of those are good detachments. They just really, one I want to take a bunch of head takers, the other one I want to take a bunch of Wolfen and Thunderwolves. And I don't think the first one was bad either. So we're going to have to play around with these. A lot of play testing coming up. But let's look. I don't see anything anywhere where it talks about limiting what units we can take. Yeah, I don't see anywhere where it's saying we can't take Devastators or Apothecaries. Like, we can still take Blade Guard. We can still take Intercessors. So they didn't limit what units they could take. They just made it so that we can't attach our characters to generic Adeptus Astartes unit. All of our characters can only attach to Bloodclaws, Grey Hunters, or Head Takers. Unless you take the 1 enhancement, then they can be attached to Wolfen. And none of our units will be on the leader, under what the leader rule for any of the characters from the Marine book. So you can take Apothecaries, but you're not going to be able to attach them to any of the Space Wolf specific units. So I think that's where they balanced it out. Yeah, Shot Cab, you can just walk through enemy, and one of the other detachments also had that same thing, but it wasn't as limited. So we have 2 detachments with a strat to in the movement or charge phase go through enemy units. The Shot Cav one also lets you do 4-inch terrain. And neither of them say they're restricted once per turn, so you can do it through spend 2 CP and do it in the movement phase and in the charge phase. So I'm really, really excited for what I'm seeing. I know if anybody watches the channel a lot, I just did a video on MSU Wolves that I've been playing around with. I'll probably play that a little bit until the book becomes official, because it looks like that's going to be gone. We're going to be running big bricks of stuff in the future. But seeing some 20-man Bloodclaw bricks, a bunch of 10-man Grey Hunter bricks in OC3, 6-man Head Taker squads, big Termi squads with Logan and Arjack. Well, they might take them at 5-mans, especially since I didn't see anywhere that on the Terminator or Logan or Arjack's rules that let them join the same unit anymore. So if you want to take both, you're going to have to run one on foot by itself or take 2 separate Terminator units to attach them to. But any other questions or anything anybody wants to get into? There's a lot to digest here, and we're going to be having a lot of content coming for you once we can get a hold of these models and actually start putting them on the table. Aiden and I are going to be doing a lot of playtesting and traveling to a lot of events to help us figure out what the best options are for Space Wolves. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that cool YouTube stuff, and we'll catch you next time.